Hello students, I am Professor Vibhuti Patel, Head of the Department of Economics, SNAT Women's University, Mumbai. Today in my lecture, I would like to orient you to the very important aspect of quantitative research, that is interview schedule. Now, for any quantitative research method, it's very important to collect data and analyze the numerical data and apply statistical tests. That means we need numbers, we need percentages, and for that interview schedule plays a very crucial role. It guides the interviewer and to use the structured interview, which has two very important components. One is a set of questions designed to be asked exactly as worded. You can't deviate from them. Instructions to the interviewers about how to proceed through the questions. In fact, in some of the major interviews for, say, Census of India, National Sample Survey Organization, National Family Health Survey Organization, multicentric researches, cross-country comparisons on quantitative research, team of interviewers has to undergo an intensive training of orientation so that each and every question is asked in a proper way. Now, questions that appear in order in which they are asked, you can't deviate from them. The questions are designed so they can be administered verbatim and exactly as they are written. It is very important in quantitative research to stick to the format fixed by the researcher, principal investigator and the team. The questions, they need to communicate not only what information is being asked from respondents, but it also has to clarify what form and the way in which respondents are giving information, whether it would be multiple choice question, whether you have to tick mark, whether you have to write yes and no, whether you have to give the narrative and descriptive report. If there are whys and hows and whens, then you have to go into the analysis and also reflective aspects. The design of each questionnaire or the structured interview schedule, it poses its own challenges, but there are some very common considerations which you see in all the quantitative research interview schedule. You have to be clear about the purpose of questionnaire, what kind of information you are seeking. The interview schedule has to be very, very definite about the kind of information, analysis, imperatives, inferences that you are aiming at, what kind of hypothesis that you are testing, deciding what to include, choosing the appropriate type of research instrument, deciding an open or closed format for questions in order in which the questions are asked. That is very important. First you would go into the, say for example, socioeconomic profile, then you come to career choices, then you come about the labor processes and labor relations, and then you come out with the policy, the questions related to policies. So that kind of a structure is very, very important if you are doing, say, research on work profile. A suitable wording of questions is very, very important because one word here and there can bring different types of results. So you have to be clear about your hows and whys and whens and wheres and which. Pre-testing and piloting of draft questionnaire and interview schedule is very important. For any mega research, always researchers, they have a pilot testing, and in pilot, if you are getting, say, same answers again and again, then you can also think about supplementing your quantitative research with many other research methods like case studies or focus group discussions or in-depth interviews or guided interviews. So pre-testing is very important. Now, as regards what to include in questionnaire and the interview schedule, researcher must be clear about the purpose, what kind of information, analysis and inferences they are aiming at. Researcher must decide whether the instrument is intended to be primarily descriptive. For example, how do you reach your office? Then the person will describe. But which mode, by whether they use the mode of, say, train or bus or rickshaw or taxi. But the explanatory question, why they use that particular mode of transport, for that you need to ask why, the different type of question. So descriptive questions, they give the narrative, and explanatory questions, they try to explain why particular method or mode is accepted. If the questionnaire or interview schedule is explanatory in purpose, the researcher needs to have clear hypothesis which will determine which variables need to be included. For example, if your hypothesis is that in a city like Mumbai, traveling by train is the quickest way of reaching the destination, then you will. That's why the government or the decision makers or town planners should invest more in suburban local transport. For that hypothesis, to test that hypothesis, which are the other variables you will be using? Which are the other modes of transport that commuters or Mumbaikars are using? So it is very important that you are very particular and meticulously you have to design and you have to include the variables in your questionnaire. A thorough knowledge of research literature is very, very important, because unless you do review of existing body of knowledge, because every research endeavor is adding something to the existing body of knowledge, it contributes to the construction of knowledge, and for that it is very important to do review of existing literature so that you can find out what are the already probed areas in this particular topic and which are the gray areas which need further probing. Now, for structured interview schedule, it's very important that you need standardization. In any quantitative research, standardization is very important so that there is a comparability. For example, census interviews, census schedules are standardized. They are administered all India population with the same interviews, whether you are in Assam or Gujarat or Kashmir or Kanyakumari. For every person in the country, the same interview schedule is used. The same way, large sample surveys like Sarvekshan report of Government of India or National Family Health Survey, we have a phase 1, phase 2, current phase 3 and phase 4 is they are preparing for it. Standardization is very important. The aim of this approach is to confirm that each interview is offered with exactly the same question in the same order. Then only you will get the comparability. It also guarantees the answers can be reliably collected and the comparisons can be made with confidence between sample subgroups. If you are comparing, say, literacy level of Mumbai with that of Ahmedabad, or educational profile of youngsters in the age group of 15 to 25 between Chandigarh and Pune, or if you are seeing the age structure of sex ratio, you need cross comparison. So intercity comparison, interstate comparison, cross-country comparison, all multicentric researches, they need to have interview schedule where this kind of this thing is possible. Moreover, over a period of time, longitudinal studies, you see the data given, say, in census 1901 to 2011. In all these censuses, every 10 years census data is collected. But there is a comparability. Why? Because there are structured interviews, whether it is a data on literacy or health profile or age at marriage or women-headed households or sanitation. You see the census data, the comparability is possible because of the same type of questions are asked and the interview schedule remains the same. That ensures cross-country, within the country comparison, interstate comparison, intercity comparison. Over a period of time also comparisons are possible for all the census data or this kind of official data where you are doing comparison. Now, strength of structured interviews are many. One very important aspect is that it enables the researcher to examine level of understanding a respondent has about specific topic, because here the interviewee and interviewer are meeting personally, that interpersonal dialogue is there, usually a lot more depth than the postal questionnaire. If you send your questionnaire by email or by post, and the kind of answer you will get will not allow you to get the level of understanding when interviewer personally meets the interviewer. All respondents are asked the same questions in the same manner. This makes it easy to replicate the discussion, because that is very, in other words, this type of research method is easy to regulate and standardize, whether it is in market research or social science research, research in psychology, which examines human behavior, say rate of suicides in different cities. Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Kolkata. What are the reasons which create this kind of a situation? Nature of economic